So come on in, take a sip, let's wind down. It's Friday, it's time for the Guardian Grid, but today we're having ourselves a 2018 Guttmann. This is an Oberpfälzer wine. It's grown here in the area, here in Weiden in der Oberpfalz, where I live. And this is a Guttmann Blaufränkisch. And on the nose, it's got a very earthy tone to it. The cassis rises to the top. There's no question about it. But underneath that, very distinctly, a very earthy type of minerality is coming up. A touch of sulfur, and maybe a tinge of vanilla or tobacco. I admit I have a hard time with those two, distinguishing them. But that's the nose. I mean, it's pleasant as all get out. But on the palate, we're talking bold. It's tannic, it's acidic, it's dry. It's all the qualities that I absolutely love in a wine. It is not a deep, deep ruby red, but it has a very nice silver halo where the crystal conjoins with the top level of the wine. You can barely make out the keys on the white keyboard, and that's why I love having these white keyboards here on top of a black mat on my desk. I can actually see the wine. I can see the things that I want to see in them. I've got several of them, and they're all white or silver, so they work out really well for me. But this is a fabulous wine, and yes, I could read the back of the bottle, but that's boring. I'd rather guess, and if I had to guess, I'd say about 13% alcohol. And I was raving about this during the New York Times solve earlier, but German wines are grossly underrated. They're just not given the same credence, if you will, the same ethos that the French or the Italians or the Spaniards get. I mean, I feel the same way about English wines. I've had several English wines. I've had wines from all around the UK, and they're wonderful as well. Sometimes, we get kind of hung up in our stereotypes or, what is the best, kind of a thing. But I'm telling you, I don't know. Germany's pretty good with this stuff. They're pretty good with meat and cheese and bread. And I think they invented those three things along with Christmas and Easter and stuff like that too. So, not to mention the BMW, the Mercedes, the Audi, and of course the fantastic Volkswagen. So let's go ahead and hop into our grid here today. What do we got? We've got a quick crossword number 17097. So by my calculation, we'll have a 9-8 tomorrow, 9-9 on Monday, and I think on Tuesday we're going to be 9-8. So 9-9 on Tuesday, 17-1 double ought will be next Wednesday, I think. Math was not my thing. I mean, I can diagram a Russian sentence, but I can't. Math is not my strong suit. Let's go ahead and very carefully place our mouse in here and move away as if we were never there. Sneaky. All right. Cars on the road. Cars, etc. on the road. So I don't know, but it's 7. I'm just going to go with traffic. Why not? It's a place to start. Speed. This is an M. Him, sir. Okay. I don't feel like a city. I mean, if I were doing this by myself and I didn't have anybody with me, I was just sitting on a train, say, killing time, I would sit and figure it out. But I don't have that kind of time with you. I wouldn't bore you like that. A perk is, generally speaking, in the Guardian, an asset, I have learned. And a shot dispenser. Is it an optic? What do y'all call those? I know what you're talking about. Cougar could be a puma. I'm gonna go with an optic because I don't know. Optic. I don't know for sure, but that's what I think it is. glass doors opening into garden, and that would be French windows. We've had quite a few houses that had French windows, or sometimes in Yank speak, we'll just call them French doors, but I try to keep it French windows, you know. I mean, I just feel like, let's keep it original, but, you know, that's just me. I don't know. So tempo here, I'm thinking. And then I've got to try to figure out what this could be. Miss here, maybe? Watch that be what hems me up. I think that counts. A hem, sir. Hem, sir. Yeah. I'm pretty good with the anagrams, right? You know, I don't know what that is. I mean, just kind of look at stuff and kind of rearrange it in my mind, and it just works. Tacked down covering could be carpet. Car whose back door opens upwards, maybe a hatchback. So far, so good. Adorn. With that K at the end, I'm going to go with bedeck. I hope I'm not going down a rabbit hole, or i.e. the wrong rabbit hole. Get down on one knee, maybe propose. Track performer. Just maybe an athlete. I'm slowly catching on to the personality of the setters. There's something you can always say, okay, something up there, right? You know? Transport for children. 4-4 and 5. And look at what we've got here to work with. This blank H, blank O, blank H. If 18 across is a T, I'm going with choo-choo train. Stun, or a anagram of rates. And so I'm going with taser, because I want it to be a T. That's my confirmation bias. Maybe it worked against me. But I think this is just the best, and I hope it's right, because I think that's clever as all get out. Transport for children. Choo-choo train. Love it, love it, love it. Sugar particle. Oh, probably a granule, right? I'm sitting here trying to think, okay, glucides? Sucrose? What? No, got it. So I think we might be talking about a granule. Supervisor of Lord's estate. And I think those people are known as Reeves. And I know that because of an interview that Christopher Reeve gave a long time ago before he died about what his last name meant, and it stuck with me. So somewhere in his ancestry, perhaps someone was like, I don't know, who was the guy on Downton Abbey? Carson, right? You know, maybe it was Carson. Baby pigeon, it would be a squab. I've been on a squab hunt in England with a 28 gauge side-by-side shotgun. I don't remember who made it. Enfield, maybe? And on an English saddle in my dress uniform. Y'all don't have saddle horns. It's just the saddle just kind of dips right off to the horse's neck. And the whole way to manage yourself is by standing up in the stirrups. I think that's so cool. Dignify. Maybe to ennoble. Well, that's how my mind's working. We'll see if I have to change it. Because if I do, I do. Not an issue. Bubble liquid in the throat. Okay, maybe gargle. I don't think I've ever heard it described as that, but it's a fantastic definition and I love it. So, reconditioning, perhaps a renewal. Okay. that whole, if I were the setter, I'd have a hard time with that, because reconditioning, I wouldn't want to have an RE in the answer, right? Because that to me feels redundant and almost a giveaway. And so that would be very difficult for me to be the setter here for that. Box in the throat could be larynx. I guess that's supposed to be kind of a joke, like punching someone in the throat maybe, but it literally is a voice box, right? I mean, tower with panoramic view, and that is a mirador. Mirador. Mira los colores de mi vida. In fact, we were at the Citadel de Barcelona, and we were standing in the Mirador de Citadel de Barcelona, and it was a really great view of the ocean. The best part was you could see the sails down for the America's Cup that was getting ready to go, and still so sorry for how hard a fight that was for the UK and for New Zealand, but victory came. And I just loved it, because the entire time we were there, I just loved the fact that all I was surrounded with was like Omega watch ads and sales and vehicles and planes and everything. It was all Omega, Omega, Omega. It was like, it was just everything, right? And every now and then you see a little advertisement for like Panerai. That's a nice watch too. I mean, I've got one. I just prefer Omega, I think. If you've been watching these solves and solving with me for a while, you know that I love the Omega, or as James Bond says, Omega. I don't think there's any difference. Say it however you want to. Quality of tone. Well, this is just really striking out to me as a musician. I think we're talking about timbre. And so, rebuke. 72, maybe. Is this how those in the UK rebuke someone? I'm going to have to give you a talking to. I could be wrong, but it looks like talking to me. So civilized, right? You know, a rebuke in the United States is, I don't know, a throat punch. I mean, well, my boss rebuked me today and I couldn't talk for 4 hours. It crushed my Adam's apple, kind of a thing, right? I mean, it's great. Dented hats kind of basically spelled out for us here. I think we got ourselves an Indiana Jones fedora. Greasy spoon say, okay. And again, the first time I saw this in the Guardian Quick, I thought only Americans had greasy spoons, but I actually should know better. We actually have them here in Germany as well, literally called greasy spoons, but in German, right? So, die Kochlöffel. It's really kind of funny. The Ölische Kochlöffel. Greasy spoon say, I'm gonna go with a cafe. I don't really know. I feel really good about this, but I'm sure it means I fat fingered something. And what I've learned over the many months that I've been doing the Guardian Grid now, don't count your chickens before they hatch. So let's go ahead and do a check all. Okay, I've done this 3 times. You've seen it. You know, all these grids, they're uncut. I mean, you don't see any edits in the middle of them unless something bad happens. Like, I drop a pin on the camera on-off button. But no, I think that we did okay today. I'll do it one more time just to make sure. If you see a blank spot that I should have seen and you want to crush my spirit, you go right ahead. But in the time being, I'm going to celebrate. Oh, am I going to celebrate? This is going to be an amazing thing. I might have to have a talking to with myself afterwards. Maybe operate a taser or whatnot. But right now, through the mirador that is my life, right? All I can see is a Yank victory, elusive as they may be. Enjoy them while I can, right? So to the center, well done today, sir or madam. Madam or sir. If you can get your hands on this wine, do it. Let's bring down our bannière d'adieu. I'm so proud of this moment. Okay, moving along. I've been watching the Wombles and Joe 90. Every time these things crop into the Guardian Grid, I find myself then, like kind of not whining, but kind of whining, like, what the heck is a womble, right? And then my friend Neil, who goes by Musty MC in the with his avatar, his username, it was always like, oh, you got Yank slapped by another kid show, right? Kind of a thing, and he'll tell stories about what it was like as a kid growing up with Joe 90 or the Wombles or whatnot. And I was listening to the theme song and watching the Wombles, and believe it or not, it's a lot like the show The Banana Splits that we had in the 60s and the 70s when, I wasn't alive in the 60s, but I came along in the very early 70s. 72 is when I was born. And we had the Banana Splits. And I also kept myself busy in the evenings during the summer when I didn't have to be asleep earlier by watching British comedies on PBS, right? So it seems like every major media market had a public broadcasting system channel. And for me growing up, that was Channel 13, back when you just had UHF and VHF and maybe all of about 10 channels total to choose from before cable. But I would always watch Benny Hill and Fawlty Towers, and Blackadder was a big one for me, though I really liked it when it was medieval, and it kind of got newer and progressed into modern war times and whatnot. But I've really always loved all of that. Monty Python was a big deal, but I wish I had the Wombles. I wish I had Joe 90 because it was just so clever. And for a British children's shows, they really tackle some tough topics like Cold War, nuclear agreements and stuff. It was amazing. No wonder the British kids are so I don't know, it's just so fa-fa, so she, so cosmopolitan, right? Well, we were all, if we were born in Generation X, we were all just cratering every day, quivering left and to our right, and a dystopian malaise over if we're going to get nuked to death or something today by, at the time, I don't know, Gorbachev and Reagan, and then before then and so forth. It's just, Khrushchev and all that. It was a crazy thing. Feels like sometimes we're going back into that, and that's why I always say, especially in closing, be kind to your friends and your family and your neighbors and whatnot. I mean, they deserve that. They are your friends and their family, and they're your neighbors. But be especially nice to that person behind you in line, because these are really uncertain times, and there's a lot going on, and we'll leave the catalysts and the blame out of it. The reality is it's a reality, and so I think the kinder we can be to each other, the better we can get through this, because it is a very trying time for almost everyone around the world. And so I always say, try to pay it forward by leaving some change back for the next fella in line or something along those lines, right? And so until we see you tomorrow, ich wünsche Ihnen einen schönen Tag noch. Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss. Servus. Grüß Gott. Ciao. Cin-Cin. And toodle pip. Be well out there. We'll see you tomorrow for the ultimate day for the Guardian. Be well.